What's up guys, today we're going to have a head-to-head matchup between two of the best smartphones on the market. In one hand, I'm holding Google's newest smartphone, the almost self-aware and lightning-fast Pixel 4 XL, and in the other we've got Apple's premium device, the sleek and stylish iPhone 11 Pro Max. Stick around, it's going to be a real clash of the titans. As Google and Apple continue to compete in an ever-growing consumer market, the Pixel 4 XL and the iPhone 11 Pro Max represent each company's premium option in their smartphone lineup. Both have done a great job designing their premium devices. The Pixel 4 XL comes in three colors: just black, clearly white, and also orange. The white and orange options have a really clean aluminum back with a matte finish, which prevents scratches and fingerprints from showing. The just black version comes with a glossy back panel. It's a nice color but makes the aluminum back a fingerprint magnet. Doesn't matter though, I tend to prefer darker colors when it comes to gadgets anyways.
Does it come in black?
The phone also has matte black aluminum rails around it, allowing for better grip. This is probably the best build quality of any Google smartphone. The buttons are all on one side of the phone, making one-hand use easier. It seemed like the Pixel 3 XL notch was the first thing anyone brought up when talking about the phone. The despised notch from last year's model is gone, but the Pixel 4 XL does have a large forehead, which houses the phone's sensors. However, I think it looks nicer than the hideous notch from last year. Turning our attention over to the iPhone, this year Apple has implemented a frosted matte finished glass on the back, giving the phone a really sleek look. Apple has used stainless steel instead of aluminum for their frame, which is tougher and feels good to hold. The polished steel finish matches the space gray color, and the way the frame integrates with the glass really brings the entire package together. Apple claims that this is the most durable glass on a smartphone. I'll just be taking their word for this and won't really be testing this out for myself. This was a close one, but in terms of design, I give the edge to the iPhone 11 Pro Max. The Pixel 4 XL has a 6.3-inch 3040 by 1440 display with 537 ppi. The device has a 90Hz refresh rate, resulting in fast screen transitions and smooth animations. Its smart display switches from 90 to 60Hz when the phone is idle, and then switches back to 90Hz when you're using the phone. However, it seemed to consistently downgrade to 60Hz when I was using the device. There is a setting to force the display to stay at 90Hz, though it does consume a lot more power. When it comes to the display, the iPhone 11 Pro Max has a beautiful 6.5-inch 2688 by 1242 Super Retina display with 488 pixels per inch. Both phones have automatic display adjustments based on the lighting, ambient EQ on the Pixel and True Tone on the iPhone. However, screen brightness is an issue on the Pixel 4 XL. Even at 100% brightness, the screen is a bit dim and sometimes hard to see in daylight. When it comes to the display, the iPhone 11 Pro Max comes out on top. Moving on to performance, the Pixel 4 XL has a Snapdragon 855 octa-core processor and 6GB of RAM. The iPhone 11 Pro Max on the other hand is rocking an 813 Bionic processor and has 4GB of RAM. This insanely powerful processor allows the iPhone 11 Pro Max to exceed the performance of the Pixel 4 XL even with less RAM. When it comes to multi-core usage, our Geekbench 5 test showed that the 813 Bionic processor is 40% faster than the Snapdragon 855 processor. In fact, even the 812 Bionic processor in last year's Apple smartphones is more powerful than the Snapdragon 855 processor. To say that the user experience is smooth on the new iPhone is an understatement. Everything on the phone works flawlessly. However, I really don't understand Apple's logic of having such a powerful processor and accompanying it with such subpar hardware. It would make much more sense to incorporate faster memory and more storage to optimize the performance of the 813 processor. Memory management on the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the Pixel 4 XL is okay at best. Also, the base storage for both phones is 64GB, with no option for expandable storage, which is very disappointing. The largest storage option for the Pixel 4 XL is 128GB, which seems pretty low for a high-end device. Add that to the fact that Google will no longer be providing free unlimited photo backups to Google Photos like it did with previous Pixel devices, and the 128GB max storage option looks even more disappointing. So if we're talking about performance, the iPhone 11 Pro Max wins this round. However, memory management on both devices leaves more to be desired. User experience is another key area where Apple remains dominant. With iOS and macOS, Apple's ecosystem offers continuity between products. Features such as iMessage, FaceTime, AirDrop, and iCloud all work together seamlessly. The more products you add, for example an Apple Watch or an Apple TV, the better the ecosystem experience becomes. Google's newest device is running Android 10, which is fast and butter smooth. Android 10 also offers a dark mode, 5G support, more obvious privacy controls, and better security. The new gestures are pretty complicated, but they become intuitive once you're familiar with them. Multitasking on the Pixel 4 XL is easy and the device has multi-window support. Due to the large display, I found using this phone in split screen mode to be an enjoyable experience. The iPhone 11 Pro Max, however, does not have split screen support. Add that with the memory management, which is decent at best, and multitasking becomes more difficult on the new iPhone. However, iOS remains more polished than Android with more quality apps, games, and better app support. The user interface is lightweight and fast. Taps and finger gestures are registered quickly and accurately as always. Apple has also replaced 3D Touch and added an even better haptic engine. The new iPhone relies on Face ID, which is 30% faster now than on previous iPhones. It's a very safe and simple to use security system. The Pixel 4 XL has a cluster of sensors, including an infrared projector, receiver, and radar sensor, which allows the device to be aware of its surroundings. When you reach for your smartphone, the radar sensor signals the device once your hand is within range, activating the infrared sensor and the facial recognition sensors. Due to preemptive activation, the Soli radar facial recognition sensor on the Pixel 4 XL is able to recognize you as soon as your face is within range, resulting in the fastest face unlock of all smartphones on the market. Though it's quick and convenient, many times the device will unlock unintentionally. You don't even have to be looking at the screen for the phone to unlock. The sensors are also used for air gestures. I would say the Pixel accurately registers gestures around 60% of the time, and I've mainly been using it to skip through my Spotify list. The Pixel 4 XL has a 3700 mAh battery versus a 3969 mAh battery on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. I mainly use my phone for calling, texting, surfing the internet, social media, checking emails, listening to music, streaming videos, and a bit of gaming, and battery life never became an issue for me on the iPhone. The iPhone 11 Pro Max gets about 8 hours of screen time and should get you throughout the day no problems. Battery life is an issue on the Pixel 4 XL, which only gets about 5 hours of screen time. Maybe it's the high refresh rate which is consuming a lot of power. Whatever the reason, when it comes to battery life, the iPhone 11 Pro Max wins. Alright guys, let's jump to the matchup that most of you came here for and compare the cameras between the two devices. Front-facing cameras on both devices take great pictures. Images are sharp and they do a nice job with their respective portrait modes. On the back, the Pixel 4 XL has two cameras, a 12 megapixel primary and a 16 megapixel telephoto camera, both contained in a clean square housing. The iPhone 11 Pro Max on the other hand has a 12 megapixel primary, telephoto, and an ultra wide angle camera, the first ever on an Apple device. Images taken on both phones are great. However, pictures taken on the Pixel 4 XL are a bit more saturated and colors look a bit unnatural. The iPhone 11 Pro Max takes very sharp and color accurate photos with great dynamic range. Images produced by the iPhone are the closest to what is being seen by the human eyes. I'll add a link to the video where I compare the picture quality on both phones. Another cool thing about the new iPhone cameras are that even before you take a picture, all of the lenses are calibrated, producing similar exposure and color reproduction. You can smoothly transition between the three lenses and it will feel like you're using only one lens. The Pixel 4 XL has a live HDR Plus feature which allows you to see exactly how a photo will turn out before taking the picture. Both phones have a dedicated night mode, but the Apple device is smart enough to automatically turn it on when it detects dimly lit conditions. The Pixel has a new feature called astrophotography mode, which reproduces unbelievably accurate images in the dark. The Pixel 4 XL does perform a bit better in low light settings, however, for daytime photography and in most other cases, it doesn't hold up to the iPhone 11 Pro Max. As for video capture, videos taken on the iPhone 11 Pro Max are amazing. The phone allows for 4K videos at 60 frames per second on the front and back cameras. The Pixel 4 XL, however, captures 1080p videos at 30 frames per second on the front camera and 4K videos at 30 frames per second at best on the rear camera. What makes video recording even better is the new Super Steady stabilization features on both phones. I was literally able to shoot videos without having to think about how shaky my hands were, and videos turned out pretty good most of the time. Both phones produce videos that are sharp and the dynamic range is excellent, but if I had to pick one, I would choose the iPhone 11 Pro Max. It really does have the best video recording capabilities out of all the flagship smartphones released in 2019. Finally, let's look at which smartphone comes with better features. The Pixel 4 XL has a new feature called Live Transcribe, which uses Google's speech-to-text engine to turn interviews, presentations, and conversations into text as they happen. There's also an always-on display feature on the device, which is really great. The iPhone 11 Pro Max allows you to scan documents and email them. Apple is also including a free 1-year subscription to Apple TV to those who purchase a new iPhone. The device also allows for full-page screenshots, which is quite useful. The new iPhone also has Wi-Fi 6, while the Pixel 4 doesn't. However, during my testing, the Wi-Fi was a bit faster on the Pixel 4 XL than the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Speakers are great on both phones, but I thought the sound quality was better on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Siri's jokes are still not funny, but both Siri and Google Assistant are very helpful. The Pixel 4 XL has a USB Type-C port, while the iPhone 11 Pro Max has a Lightning port. Neither phone comes with a headphone jack. Apple also provides headphones along with the phone, while Google didn't provide any with their device. The Pixel 4 XL starts at $900 and the iPhone 11 Pro Max starts at $1,100. So after all is said and done, what's the verdict? The iPhone 11 Pro Max edges out the Pixel 4 XL all across the board and wins this matchup. Not only does it have better hardware, cameras, and battery pack, it also beats the Pixel 4 XL in terms of performance, video quality, user experience, build, and style. Alright guys, that's it for now. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more upcoming smartphone reviews.